Okay, I'm gonna review it right now. I love your guys' duos, squads. Oh, 90s, because you think for yourself. You want to tell? That's cool too. I like it. I like it. Alright. So, direct variation, what you read about in chapter 3-4, is an equation that looks like this: y equals k times x. And the value in front of the x is called a constant of variation. And it's a little confusing when you learn this for the first time in Algebra 1, because constant of variation is the same as slope. And you guys just did a quizzes on slope with some of you, and I was like dying to put the slope formula up here, but I didn't know if it was on your benchmark. Can I? The slope formula? Yeah, rise over run in the formula where you subtract the y's on top and subtract the x's down below. So this is what your quiz is on right now, I believe. So looking at number 2, it says name the constant of variation, then determine the slope between the points. So what's the equation number 2, Jaden? Yeah. Yeah, so here's number 2. This is a direct variation equation. This is called K, also called M. K for constant of variation, M if it's considered slope. So this number we can find by doing slope formula with these 2 points. So we'll do 0, 0 is x1 and y1, and 2, 3 is x2, y2. Go ahead and do the slope formula, and it should prove to match the number in the equation. And I'm undoing it. So the point of this, and this is exactly what was your homework Monday in the workbook. The point of this is just for you to realize that the value in the equation and the value that you get when you do the formula is the same. There's a connection there. It's also present when you look at the line. I heard someone say rise over run, right? Thumbs up for who's familiar with rise over run. Perfect. So from here to here, we're going up 1, 2, 3 over 2. Starting at 0, up 3 over 2 is our next point. All right, so you guys do all of that for this problem. Identify the K value, do the formula, and then see if it matches the rise over run. You guys did a nice job on that online quiz, by the way. The curve isn't in that you guys are above average. So above the average of what the other high schools are doing. So that's really good. Something to feel good about. I know it's hard to feel good about those because you turn it in and you're like, oh, I don't like my score, but it's good to be, above average. the number in front of x. We're going to call it k in direct variation, -1/3, and then I'm going to prove that with the formula. First point is -3, 1. Second point, 0, 0. All direct variation equations go through 0, 0. So this one looks different than how we did it number 1. We put 0, 0 second, just looking at the order of the points. We end up with -1 minus the negative we talked about Monday becomes positive, -1/3. So purposefully, this one is supposed to be seen as a positive slope. It's going uphill, and the k value is positive. Our math comes out positive, and then this one's going downhill. Our k value is negative, our slope formula is negative. So from here to here, we went down 1 and right 3, down 1 and right 3, and that's because the 1 is negative. All right, now go ahead and create a graph using that rise over run scale. Start at 0, 0, and then the rise over run. So really, in order to be kind of like a sophisticated grapher, you need to be able to get your points to the right and then match that pattern to go the other way. So if I want to go the same pattern, I would go down and left so that I have points on both sides of the graph. You really don't want half graphs. You want on the left side and the right side. You did intercept. So sometimes we'll end up, we'll put a point at 2 and 5 instead of doing the movement rise over run. Yeah. Good job. We've seen some good things. Starting at 0, 0, long rise over run. Okay, the trickiest part about direct variation is actually writing an equation. So, being able to write an equation just given x and y. This is part 1. What you would do is plug in x and y to this formula, and that would allow you to solve for k. So, looking at the formula, if x or y is 10, I'll put a 10 in, equals k, and then x is 2, I put a 2 in. So looking at the directions, I plug in what's provided for y and x. And then you are able, if you have both y and x, you can solve for k. So I would divide both sides by 2, and I would get the value for k. Step 2 would be then to write the equation. So now I know my equation is y equals 5x. So you plug in what they tell you to solve for the constant of variation, and then you put that constant of variation in the equation. And so that's all we have time for today, but I really want to work just on this tomorrow, plugging in x and y and finding k. Please write down your homework. It's just like Monday's homework, except for the last 2. If you want to skip the last 2, I'll still give you full credit. The last 2 are things like this that I haven't finished covering yet. So really just do 1 through 7.